In an age of anxiety, how do we settle that restless mind? Opening, searching for the lost mind. In the torrent of our daily lives, has there ever been a moment when a thought flashes through our minds like lightning? What exactly is this I that is seeing, hearing, feeling, and thinking? Why do we, despite longing for peace, often get swept away by emotional storms? Why do we pursue freedom, yet frequently find ourselves bound by invisible desires? These are not dilemmas unique to modern people. Over 2,500 years ago, in the Jetavana Grove monastery of ancient India, Venerable Ānanda, the youngest and most learned disciple of the Buddha, faced the same existential predicament. He had a photographic memory and retained all Buddhist teachings, yet while on an alms round, he nearly destroyed his spiritual foundation due to his inability to resist the temptation of Matangi's daughter. It was precisely this seemingly personal crisis that led to the emergence of a supreme treasure revered by later generations as the Sutra of Primary Enlightenment, and the Eye of the True Dharma, the Śūraṅgama Sūtra. Today, let us together push open this gate of wisdom and explore what cosmic and spiritual codes are hidden within this sutra. Hailed as the Encyclopedia of Chinese Buddhism. 1. Unpacking the theme, an ultimate detective story about the mind. The opening of the Śūraṅgama Sutra is intensely dramatic. It begins with a specific and critical event, Ānanda's peril, from which the Buddha dispatches Manjusri Bodhisattva to rescue him with a mantra. However, the Buddha does not immediately preach. Instead, he uses this as an opportunity to initiate an unprecedented and rigorous inquiry into the mind. This differs from the approach of most sutras, which directly expound the truth. The Śūraṅgama Sutra is more like a meticulously structured, logically precise philosophical detective story. The Buddha assumes the role of the most skillful detective mentor, while Ānanda represents all of us deluded sentient beings. Together, they investigate the most central yet elusive, top-cold case in the Dharma: where exactly is our true mind? Thus begins the epoch-making, sevenfold investigation of the mind dialogue. The Buddha asks, Ānanda, where do you say your mind is? Ānanda offers 7 successive answers, representing the 7 most common misconceptions we have about the mind. 1. The mind is inside the body, like the internal organs. Then why can't we see the liver, intestines, stomach, or spleen inside? 2. The mind is outside the body, like a lamp outside a room. Then how can body and mind be connected and mutually aware, sharing sensations like pain and itch? 3. The mind is hidden within the visual faculty, like eyes covered by a glass bowl. Then why can't we see both the bowl and the scenery outside simultaneously? 4. The mind is in the state between seeing light and seeing darkness. Eyes open see light, closed see darkness. Is the darkness seen with closed eyes the same as external darkness? Does the seeing nature that can see open and close? 5. The mind is wherever it coalesces, arising when merging with objects. Then when the mind does not merge with objects, does it still exist? 6. The mind is between the faculty and its object, between seeing and the thing seen. Does this between have a fixed location? What is its essence? 7. The mind is non-attachment. Non-attachment to everything is the mind. Then what is that which is aware of non-attachment itself? With impeccable logic, like a precise scalpel, the Buddha analyzes each point, dismantling our seemingly solid perceptions one by one. Each investigation, interrogation, causes our habitual fixation on the location of the mind to fall apart. This is not a denial of the mind's existence, but an urging to discard all erroneous maps, for following these maps, we will never find the treasure. Immediately after demolishing all false attachments, the Buddha begins an even more brilliant, tenfold revelation of seeing. He does not say where the mind is, but directly points to that which transcends words and forms, yet functions, our seeing nature, the faculty of sight. Pointing to a lamp's light, he asks Ānanda, "Do you see the lamp? When you see the light, is this seeing nature the lamp? Is it your eyes? Is it darkness? Is it space?" Through 10 layers of demonstration, he progressively strips away the falsities adhering to the seeing nature, revealing its inconceivable characteristics. Unmoving, indestructible, unreturning, unlosing, unobstructed, unmixed, unreturning, neither natural nor conditional. Transcending all forms while encompassing all dharmas. This sequence of demolishing the 7 investigations and establishing the 10 revelations constitutes the core dialectical wisdom of the Śūraṅgama Sūtra. It uses the sharpest rationality to guide you beyond the limitations of rationality, to directly perceive the original face that transcends thought and speech. This establishes the sutra's unique style of entering the path through principle, awakening to truth through wisdom. 2. The core, depicting the Tathagatagarbha system of the universe and life. Having identified that true mind, also called the wondrous bright true mind or Tathagatagarbha, which is nowhere yet everywhere, the Śūraṅgama Sutra displays the majestic grandeur befitting the King of Sutras. It constructs a complete ultimate philosophical system explaining the origin and interrelation of the universe, life, matter, and spirit. The Tathagatagarbha dependent arising. The core proposition of this system is: all phenomena in the world, from mountains, rivers, and the great earth to our body-mind, are not created externally. Instead, they are the sequential manifestation, like a movie being projected, arising from our originally pure, fully endowed, wondrous bright true mind, due to the initial stirring of ignorance, avidya, where awareness becomes at fault. The Buddha uses an exquisite simile. It is like space itself, whose essence is not the various appearances, yet it does not reject those appearances from manifesting within it. The true mind is like space. It is not any phenomenon itself, yet it does not hinder all phenomena from arising and displaying within it. How exactly does this manifestation occur? The sutra presents the famous doctrine of the 7 elements pervading everywhere: earth, water, fire, wind, space, perception, and consciousness. These 7 elements constituting the world are all the Tathagatagarbha, whose nature is truly perfect and interpenetrating. All are the Tathagatagarbha, fundamentally without production or cessation. Earth element, solid matter. Water element, moist liquids. Fire element, warmth/temperature. Wind element, flowing gases/movement. Space element, vast emptiness/space. Perception element, the faculty of awareness, the sense faculties. Consciousness element, the discriminating mind, the sense objects. These 7 elements are not external elements but inherent functions of our true mind. With one thought of ignorance, the originally perfectly interpenetrating true mind is falsely divided into seer, self, and seen, world. Then, starting from the interaction of the perception element and consciousness element, they entangle and evolve into the space element, wind element, fire element, water element, and earth element, forming the myriad physical and mental phenomena we perceive. This theory completely breaks the dualistic opposition between mind and matter, elucidating the ultimate meaning of mind and matter are one and all phenomena are mind only. It tells us, we do not live in isolated separation within an objective world. Rather, our very cognitive system continuously generates the world we experience. The root of afflictions and samsara, cycle of rebirth, lies in our mistaking the false for the true. taking the illusory appearances manifested by the true mind as solid, unchanging realities. 3. The weapon, the demon-detecting mirror, and demon-slaying sword on the path. The greatness of the Śūraṅgama Sūtra lies not only in pointing out the truth of the true mind and the universe, but also in its being an extremely practical guide for cultivation, deeply concerned with the personal safety of practitioners. It is hailed as the demon-detecting mirror, capable of illuminating all demons, ghosts, evil views, and false states. And as the demon-slaying sword, capable of severing the root of ignorance and protecting practitioners. This is centrally and most prominently embodied in the sutra's most unique teaching on the 50 skandha demons. Across several fascicles, the Buddha meticulously describes the 10 possible demonic states that may arise for practitioners during each of the 5 stages, 10 per stage, of breaking through the bondage of the 5 skandhas: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness, totaling 50 kinds. For example, when breaking through the form skandha, one might suddenly see Buddhas, bodhisattvas, or bright heavenly palaces, state demon. Feel one's mind has left the body, thoroughly understanding inside and out, feeling skandha demon. Attain unprecedented experiences, thinking oneself has realized sagehood, perception skandha demon. Suddenly generate limitless courage, believing oneself has attained unobstructed powers, formation skandha demon. Have penetrating vision, seeing heavenly realms above and hells below, consciousness skandha demon. These states may sound mystical or even enticing, but the Buddha pinpointed the crucial point: these are called the region of the perception skandha. If you regard them as sagehood, you will fall prey to legions of demons. If one mistakes these apparitions at the gate, arising from meditative concentration or karmic forces for realization of fruition or Buddhahood, one will fall into demonic paths, leading at best to stagnation in practice, and at worst to mental confusion and slandering of the true Dharma. The great compassion of the Śūraṅgama Sūtra lies precisely here. It provides advance warning and clear discrimination of truth and falsehood. It teaches us the fundamental mental approach towards all states. Not giving rise to a sage mind is called a wholesome state. If you give rise to a sage interpretation, you will fall prey to legions of demons. Not generating the attachment of, I have attained, means these are still good signs in practice. Once you think, I have become a sage, demons take advantage and enter. Thus, this sutra becomes a protective talisman for practitioners of all schools, be it Chan or Pure Land, providing a bright lamp to illuminate wrong paths and a sharp sword to guard the citadel of the mind during profound spiritual exploration. 4. Cultivation, the preferred, perfect penetration via the ear faculty method. After revealing the complete picture from theory to obstacles, the Śūraṅgama Sūtra enters its most practically instructive chapter. The Buddha asks 25 great bodhisattvas and arhats to each expound the method through which they first accomplished the way and awakened to perfect penetration. This is the famous 25 perfect penetrations. From Kaundinyas, realization of guest dust, and Upanishads, contemplation of impurity, to the youth fragrance adorns, contemplation of fragrance. Maitreya Bodhisattvas, mind-only consciousness contemplation. And Mahastamaprapta Bodhisattvas, perfect penetration through Buddha recitation. Each sage shares their most effective cultivation path. Finally, entrusted by the Buddha, Manjusri Bodhisattva evaluates these 25 methods. After deeply analyzing the characteristics of the faculties of beings in this world, Manjusri Bodhisattva draws a far-reaching conclusion. For beings in our world, the Saha world, the most direct, swift, and perfect cultivation method is the perfect penetration via the ear faculty, practiced by Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. Why the ear faculty? Because beings in this world have the sharpest ear faculty, yet it is also most prone to grasping at external objects. We easily give rise to joy, anger, sorrow, or pleasure due to sounds, and are easily influenced by language. The essence of Avalokiteshvara's method lies in turning the hearing inward to hear the self-nature. No longer chasing after or discriminating the pleasant/unpleasant, favorable/adverse qualities of external sounds, but instead turning the awareness inward to listen to the hearing nature itself, that which is capable of hearing. The beautiful verses in the sutra describe this state. Initially, in hearing, entering the stream, the objects are forgotten. When what is entered becomes quiet, the two characteristics of motion and stillness clearly do not arise. Thus gradually advancing, hearing and what is heard are exhausted. When hearing is exhausted, there is no abiding. Awakening and what is awakened are empty. When emptiness and awakening are perfectly interpenetrated, emptiness and what is emptied are extinguished. When production and extinction are extinguished, the stillness of extinction manifests. This is a process from hearing sounds to forgetting sounds, to eliminating the dualistic opposition between the hearer and the heard, ultimately merging with the absolute stillness of enlightenment that perfectly illuminates the Dharma realm, without duality or differentiation. This method is not limited to meditation on the cushion but is a wisdom that can be integrated into every moment of life. Maintaining inner stillness amidst clamor. Being aware of that unchanging hearing nature amidst myriad changing sounds, this is the key to embodying the wisdom of the Ragama in daily life. 5. Perfect integration, achieving the Ragama Samadhi. The ultimate accomplishment pointed to by the entire Ragama Sutra is a state called the Ragama Samadhi. This is not the usual meditative concentration of sitting cross-legged with eyes closed. Rather, it is the ultimate state of life. The Naga, enlightened being, is constantly in samadhi. There is no time not in samadhi. It is in samadhi during walking, standing, sitting, and lying down. Amidst numerous and varied affairs, the mind is like a bright mirror, reflecting yet eternally still. The essence is serene whether speaking, silent, moving, or still. Whether talking or silent, active or still, the fundamental mind remains clear and unmoving. Afflictions are precisely bodhi. Not turned by afflictions, knowing the very substance of afflictions is the provision for enlightenment. Birth and death are precisely nirva. Penetrating the illusory nature of birth and death, abiding in the reality that is fundamentally neither produced nor extinguished. This great samadhi is a samadhi of wisdom, a samadhi of enlightenment. The ultimate freedom where the mind is completely and steadfastly abiding in the reality of the Tathagatagarbha, no longer shaken by any internal or external condition. It signifies the practitioner has completed the perfection from theoretical understanding to actual realization, becoming a true, awakened one. 6. Echo and conclusion, finding your Ragama. Since Master Promti of the Tang dynasty hid the sutra in his arm and risked great danger to bring it to China, the Ragama Sutra, with its comprehensive system, rigorous logic, detailed practical instructions, and thorough refutation of falsehoods, has deeply shaken and inspired Chinese Buddhism. It is revered by the Chan school as a treasure sutra for sealing the mind, listed by the Pure Land school as an important basis, and widely cited by the Tiantai and Huayan schools, truly achieving Chan, doctrine, Pure Land, and discipline, all equally honor it. Ancient masters said, for awakening, the Ragama, for Buddhahood, the lotus. There is also the timeless praise, since first reading the Ragama, I no longer look at the dross books of the human world. In contemporary society, characterized by fragmented information, pluralistic values, and widespread inner anxiety, the wisdom of the Ragama Sutra shines like a powerful light transcending time and space, offering us fundamental inspiration. When we lose ourselves in identity labels and social comparisons, it asks, can that very subject that can be labeled and feels lost, itself be lost? When we are overwhelmed by emotional torrents and unable to be self-directed, it reveals, emotions are like clouds, the true mind is like the sky. Do the gathering and scattering of clouds ever stir the sky? When we generate endless pursuit and dependency on the material world, it clarifies. Everything you pursue is essentially a manifestation of your own mind's functions. When we encounter various mystical experiences or obstacles in spiritual exploration, it provides a complete safety manual and guide for discernment. Reading and studying the Śūraṅgama Sutra is itself the greatest adventure, an expedition of tracing back to the innermost depths of the mind. It does not easily give you a graspable answer or feeling. Instead, it first takes away all your false supports, compelling you to directly face that original ground where the path of speech is cut off, the place of mental activity ceases. It may be profound, yet every word is precious. It may challenge cognition, yet points directly to liberation. Because to understand the Śūraṅgama Sutra is to understand the universe. And even more so, to understand your own originally bright, inherently majestic, wondrous bright true mind. Thank you for joining us on this Śūraṅgama journey. May this wisdom traversing 1,000 years bring you fundamental clarity, inner stability, and fearless insight amidst the turbulent and distracting world.